You know, it all started on that red-eye from Denver to Vegas. Me, Elena Hayes, a civil rights lawyer who's clawed her way through too many courtrooms, settling into my first-class seat. Ticket bought with blood, sweat, and a fat settlement from a discrimination case. When this flight attendant, Vicky Lang, looms over me like she's the queen of the skies, barking, "Ma'am, this ain't your spot, scoot back to coach, now." I just stared her down, dignity holding firm even as whispers rippled through the cabin, thinking, why me? Why always the black woman in the nice suit? But I complied, sliding my bag under that cramped middle seat in economy, sandwiched between a snoring trucker and a fidgety kid, my blood boiling not from anger, but from that deep, weary knowing this wasn't a mix-up. It was her seeing my skin and deciding I didn't belong up front, her smirk saying it all without words. As the plane hit turbulence, shaking like a bad dream, Vicky storms back, eyes locked on me, yelling over the chaos. "See? This is what happens when folks don't follow the rules." Like I caused the damn storm, passengers muttering. One guy in a cap snapping back, "Lady, she didn't do squat. You're the one stirring crap." And Vicky whirls on him, face red. "Mind your own, or I'll have you tossed too." The tension thick as fog. Me sitting there, texting my husband Jordan, the airline CEO, "They moved me, fix this." Knowing he'd pull strings. Not because he's some big shot I flaunt, but cause we've built our life. Fighting this exact BS, him from boardrooms, me from the trenches. Sure enough, 4 minutes later, the captain announces an emergency landing in rural Idaho, mechanical issues, he says. But I knew Jordan had leaned on his contacts, grounding us to dig into Vicky's bias, her power trip rooted in some old grudge, maybe because I'd sued her airline years back over similar crap, or just plain jealousy seeing a woman like me rise while she's stuck serving peanuts. But oh man, that's when it escalated into a nightmare at the tiny airport. Jordan shows up like a storm cloud, striding in, suspending Vicky on the spot, her face crumbling as he growls. "You assumed, you profiled, you're done." And she spits back, "She's nobody, you can't do this." Only to pale when he reveals I'm his wife, the whispers turning to gasps. Then her brother, Sheriff Dale Lang, barrels in with deputies, badge flashing, hand on his holster, arresting me on trumped-up charges of causing a disturbance, his drawl dripping venom. "This is my town. Fancy lady, you think your hubby owns everything? You're nothing here." Dragging me to a cruiser, cuffs biting deep. All cause his family's grip on local power land deals. HOA control, that small-town corruption couldn't stand an outsider exposing their rot. In jail, Vicky sneaks in, taunting through the bars, "Should have stayed in your place." Me recording her threats on my hidden phone, heart pounding as Dale rants about burying us, his rage fueled by years of unchecked authority, thinking he could frame me with planted drugs from his crooked trooper buddy, Max Reed, who hated Jordan for firing his kin. We broke out in a hail of chaos, Jordan tackling deputies, me grabbing a baton, fleeing into the night, pursued through fields and woods by Dale's militia cousins, guns blazing, Molotovs lighting the dark, their slurs echoing like ghosts from an ugly past. Me live streaming it all, whispering into the camera, "This is real, this is hate." Dodging bullets in a river plunge, knocking out one thug with a rock. Gas canisters choking the air from Dale's chopper. It peaked when Governor Frank Harlan joins the hunt, his vendetta against Jordan's airline regs turning me into a terrorist on live TV, staging press ops while I bled from a knife wound Vicky slipped in during a hospital raid, faking my death to flip the script, emerging in court weeks later, alive, cane in hand, slamming evidence on the table. "Here's your truth, you bastards." Watching them cuff Dale, Vicky convulsing from her own poisoned stash in a basement brawl, Harlan confessing on tape, their empire crumbling under federal lights. In the end, as Jordan hugged me on those courthouse steps, crowds cheering, scars throbbing but spirit unbroken, I announced my run for Idaho governor to dismantle that rotten system from within, turning pain into power. But honestly, part of me wonders if I went too far, if revenge blurred into something darker, you know? What do you think? Was it justice, or just another cycle of hate? Drop a comment. Share your take on fighting back in your own neighborhood battles. Hit like if this fired you up, and subscribe for more real talk stories that hit home.